There he is, brand new reaction this morning from Dr. Ben Carson, not backing down from his controversial comments, saying he would not support a Muslim for president. But along the way, he's also offering clarification, saying he was talking about Muslims who have not rejected Islamic Sharia law. Here he is a moment ago in southwestern Ohio.
I said I would support anyone if, again, it seems to be hard for people to actually hear English and understand it. I said I would support anyone, regardless of their background, if in fact they embrace American values and our Constitution and are willing to place that above their beliefs.
Leslie Marshall, syndicated radio talk show host and a blogger for the Huffington Post, and David Webb, host of the David Webb Show on SiriusXM, Patriot, a columnist for The Hill, and both are Fox News contributors. Good day to both of you. Long titles, kids. Go home and sleep sometime. What Carson said a moment ago, it's a hypothetical, it's not important. And then he said again, must embrace the Constitution, place it above personal beliefs. David Starr, where are you on this now?
I'm with Dr. Carson. First of all, those that believe that religion in any way, by any denomination, trumps our Constitution, state, federal, or our system of laws should not be in elected office. It's up to the people to make that decision as the voters who put people in office. But let's face it, we are not a theocracy, and our Western Hellenic values, our Judeo-Christian values, which allow for freedom of expression, are antithetical to Sharia-compliant societies and Muslim nations where if you were a homosexual, you would be stoned. If you are a woman who were raped, you would need witnesses that say you did not invite it. And where religion trumps the freedom, our courts, an equal justice system. So I'm with Dr. Carson on that. And frankly, we don't have controlled or punishable speech, and we are entitled to our opinion in America.
I got it. To that in a moment again. But Leslie, I take it you agree entirely with what David just said.
No. I agree that we have a First Amendment, and that's what makes the United States the best country in the world. But, you know, I have a little thing I say to my 8-year-old son. Say what you mean. When you're running for president, you have to say what you mean. Now, I understand Dr. Carson, who I have a great deal of respect for as a human being and as a surgeon and as a fellow Fox guy. But I have to say that on NBC's Meet the Press with Chuck Todd, he was asked a question. He answered. He did not speak of Sharia law. He spoke of our Constitution. He said he did not want a Muslim to be president. And, you know, I think this is one of the reasons that John Quincy Adams didn't swear on a Bible. He swore on a law book, because he felt that swearing in as president should be on the Constitution,
but even he did in the end,
not on the Bible.
I got you. Even in the end, David, touch on this. Here's O'Reilly from last night.
Well, here's a bulletin. Unlike many Muslim countries, we have free speech in America. And Carson's opinion shouldn't disqualify him from anything but individual votes, if that be the case.
So Carson goes to Facebook late last night. I meant exactly what I said. I could never support a candidate for president of the United States that was Muslim and had not renounced the central tenet of Islam, Sharia law. David, does Leslie have a point? Should he have been more clear on Sunday or not, or does it matter?
No, she doesn't, because I actually watched the interview and looked at the full context. I will say this, Dr. Carson doesn't speak in sound bites. It's the nature of who he is. But they pick up on Chuck Todd, this answer to Chuck Todd, and take just the part of the whole answer. He does talk about the relationship between Sharia and the Constitution in full context, and he goes on to explain it today. Unfortunately, in politics and in a soundbite world, if you're explaining, they typically say you're losing. In this case, he is not, because Dr. Carson reflects what we in the West, free societies, believe, that no theocracy or theocratic rule should overrule the rule of law. And Americans, left, right, independent, or otherwise, do not believe in theocracy, which Sharia compliance demands theocracy. Leslie, for instance, right now.
If you go back to what O'Reilly was saying last night, don't fall into the trap.
Exactly.
Don't get sucked into the hypotheticals about who's Muslim and who's not. Just like you don't get sucked into physical appearances.
Right.
And about whether or not who has the most energy during a debate stage. Leslie, go ahead.
Well, I would agree we shouldn't fall into the trap about what a woman looks like when she's running for president, when we don't pick on the guys for that. But and I don't think what a person running for president's religion is matters to me. I believe in the practice of separation of church and state, as we have been.
But there is no
I think and
separation of
still
church
are
and
in this
state under
country.
Sharia, Leslie.
David, let me finish. But there is a reality. We also shouldn't fall into the trap that in a post 9/11 world, that all Muslims, because the 19 on that plane were
Never
not
said that,
American,
Leslie,
and the
never
American
said that.
Muslims that would run for president would not be practicing Sharia law. And Sharia law is
How
not
do
a
you know
central
that?
tenet of Islam. It is a way that it is practiced in certain countries, which many mainstream modern American Muslims consider to be a perversion of their
So
religion.
tell me the
David?
country, Leslie, where it's practiced, where you could go on TV, dress the way you are. For instance, in Saudi Arabia. Let's use that as an example of a modern nation, or possibly in Indonesia.
Well, actually, you can go on television in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, where they had a female fighter pilot who did not have her head covered and who really dropped, literally, bombs on ISIS and blew them away. And I'm sure that if she were an American, she'd be a really great candidate for president, David, perhaps.
Wow. Okay. Listen, we got to run. Thanks to both of you for coming on today. We'll see whether or not this argument continues or whether or not it's a topic that goes away for now.
Yeah, let's get back to substance.
But ultimately, that's up to the candidates to determine that.
And the press.
Thank you, Leslie. Well, you don't have to answer it. We can ask it, and you can say no comment. David, thanks for your time.
I'm with you on that.
Thank you, Leslie. Talk to you soon.